U.S. President Donald Trump doubled down on his threats to take Greenland, whether they, quote, like it or not. Speaking during a meeting with oil executives at the White House on Friday, Trump said that if the U.S. didn't do something, China or Russia would occupy Greenland.
But right now, we are going to do something on Greenland, whether they like it or not, because if we don't do it, Russia or China will take over Greenland, and we're not going to have Russia or China as a neighbor. Okay? I would like to make a deal, the easy way, but if we don't do it the easy way, we're going to do it the hard way.
Trump frequently cites national security interests as a reason for his intentions towards Greenland. Following recent U.S. attacks on Venezuela and the capture of its president during a military operation, concerns have now been growing about what the U.S. may be planning for the self-governing territory of Denmark. At least 3 people were arrested in the early hours of Saturday during an anti-ICE demonstration in Minneapolis. The protest comes amid wider rallies against U.S. immigration enforcement and over the fatal shooting of the 37-year-old Renee Good. The woman was shot and killed by an ICE agent during an immigration raid in a residential street. Videos circulating online appear to show Good trying to flee the scene, but members of Trump's administration, including the U.S. president himself, have repeatedly defended ICE, claiming the woman had tried to run over the officer. However, the release of new footage that shows the shooting of Good from the perspective of the ICE agent that shot her brought fresh scrutiny. In the video, Good can be heard saying, "That's fine, I'm not mad at you," when the officer passes by her door.
"That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you."
When other officers approach her car and demand her to get out, Good reverses briefly, turns her steering wheel towards the passenger side, and proceeds to drive forward. This is when the agent opened fire. As Good's car loses control and speeds off, one of the officers can be heard uttering a profanity, what seems to be directed at Good, an exchange that further heightened public anger.
At least 2 people were killed and 15 others were injured in Russian attacks across Ukraine overnight into Saturday. Officials say the overnight barrage consisted of over 120 drones, as well as an Iskander ballistic missile. Ukraine's air forces say they successfully intercepted or jammed 94 drones, but noted that 27 did strike their targets, along with the missile. 1 person was killed in Donetsk in the eastern Donbass region as a result of the attacks, according to regional officials. A 43-year-old man was also killed in Dnipropetrovsk in shelling that started on Friday and continued into the early hours of Saturday. 3 others were injured in the region, and some 100,000 families were left without power after energy infrastructure sites were damaged. 3 more were injured in the southern region of Zaporizhia, which local officials say was shelled over 740 times on Friday alone. Loud explosions were also reported on Saturday morning near industrial sites in Odessa. Russian officials say a Ukrainian missile attack on Belgorod caused 600,000 homes to lose access to water, power, and gas, though the attacks were not confirmed by Kyiv. Protesters gathered in major European cities in a show of support to economic demonstrations in Iran after the country was engulfed in a communications blackout. Protesters gathered on the Malieveld, a large grass field in The Hague, to demonstrate against the theocratic government of Iran. In the German capital, Berlin, people gathered to show solidarity with protesters in Iran and urge them to continue fighting for their rights. Support for protesters has been plentiful in Europe, among both the public and lawmakers. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen expressed her full support for those participating in the demonstrations and condemned Tehran for its use of lethal force to quell the unrest. Protests in Iran started 2 weeks ago to object to the worsening economic conditions, highlighted by inflation soaring past 40% and a dire food price crisis. They were met with violence and reports of deaths as Iranian security forces looked to quickly disperse the rallies.